welcome to another video. I think this is Gobtober day 13, and sometimes you just got to start the day with a big breakfast or a hero's feast, and I can't wait to dig into this. Delicious. Right, let's get to it. Okay, ready with the prompt list, ready with the dice. 92. Fallen King. Okay, that'll be interesting. Okay, something I forgot to do yesterday. I'd finished a row, so let's have a look at the whole map. Yeah, it's come together quite nicely actually. I'm quite pleased with the way this is going. I wasn't sure about a couple of the rooms, but I'm seeing them together quite good. Always a little bit of anxiety starting a new row, so never really sure how to tie it in. I love the prompt, the Fallen King, because I kind of like, I always think of that skeleton in Conan the Barbarian, you know, when he gets his sword, and there's that skeleton just on the chair, and he takes the sword and his head falls off and things like that. I really like that, so I kind of wanted to emulate that. I also wanted to give myself a little bit of space for when I get down to the bottom row, so I can extend that room out a little bit. I always like to give myself a little bit of extra kind of stuff going on. And I kind of want this king to be like an old warrior, so I gave him pauldrons and this massive sword, and I kind of like the idea that this guy could animate at any second, you know, and maybe it's his tomb is maybe the oldest one there, and this graveyard on top has been built up kind of afterwards. So yeah, it's kind of nice when I can kind of tie a narrative into all of this, and I like to think it happens quite organically. You know, I don't really have much of a pre-thought about how it's going to turn out. I try and like to come up with it as I go, and yeah, it's now just a case of just once I've got the hard work done, the character, it's just filling in all the kind of background elements and the shadows, and as always a great excuse to use a big fat smelly pen, because that's how I like to start my day, is with all the fumes that come off one of these. Right, pretty happy with this, so yeah, let's see how Gobtober turned out today. Right, yeah, just a few little tweaks and then we're done. Okay, today's theme is, or prompt rather, is cook. Right, let's see what we did last year for cook. Just get the book out. Yeah, so I was continuing the theme that I did with the chief, with the kind of larger goblins, and I kind of like how kind of pig-like this guy is, and just a really horrible kind of hairy cook. I think I'm going to try and keep kind of a piggy theme, but I will change a lot more. I think he looks too sinister. I think that was my problem with him in the end. I think as a drawing I quite like it, but in keeping with goblins it's just a bit too scary, I think. So yeah, let's see how we get on with that. So I forgot to turn my camera on when I did my kind of fat skeleton, but rather than do it again I just thought I'd be honest, and there we go. So just a basic kind of shape. I want to keep that piggy element, that piggy nose, and kind of the tusks in the bottom jaw. I kind of imagine this guy to be quite little, so I kind of wanted like a short, angry chef type thing. I worked in kitchens when I was younger and definitely come across a few of those, I'll tell you that for nothing. Kind of wanted to give him a chef's hat. Somebody told me once that the kind of ruffles in a chef's hat is determined by how many different ways they know how to cook eggs, and I've never been quite sure if it's true or not. I hope it is, because it's quite weird, but yeah, if it isn't true, tell me why there are ruffles in a chef's hat. That's what I'd like to know. Yeah, just changed his expression a little bit just to make him come across slightly more sympathetic, and giving him great big mutton chops on his, pork chops or mutton chops, whatever you call them, on his face. I always think that, always associate that with kind of angry chefs for some reason. I must have worked with somebody in the past who had chops and they were quite angry. I don't know, it's a weird thing. But no dead eye this time, gave him 2 functioning eyes, because I kind of think the pig theme is kind of enough for him. So yeah, this guy's kind of working quite nicely, making sure those tusks kind of stand out. Just give him a tongue and colouring the inside of the mouth black. I kind of wanted him to kind of have a load of vegetables around him. I imagine goblins like kind of sweets and candy and meat and things like that, and trying to get them to eat their vegetables is probably a bit of a challenge. So I kind of thought part of this guy's mission in life is to get goblins to eat vegetables, so hence why he's got carrots or peppers around his waist and onions around his neck. He's sort of, that's his goal in life, is to make sure they eat onions. I kind of gave him quite hairy armpits as well. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure how well it comes out in the final image. I think I replaced them with an onion in the end. And yeah, just those meat cleavers, I always think they're great fun, and sort of quite a, I don't know, they're quite sinister. I don't know, there's some weird kind of like serial killer connotations with them, isn't there? And it's always nice to have kind of bits of whatever he's been chopping up kind of hanging off it as well, so that's good fun. So I always feel with these, once I've got the face sorted, everything else is a little bit easier. That framework does a lot, the fat skeleton framework I've put underneath does a lot of the heavy lifting, but I always feel if I've got a good expression on the face and that reads okay, I'm normally alright with the rest of it. Sometimes, if the body shape is a big defining part of the character, I've got quite a large character, then I'll spend a bit more time trying to make sure that works. But most of the time, if the face works, I'm normally fairly happy at that point. But yeah, this guy was quite fun to do. I think he's a definite improvement on last year's. Like I said, last year's was just a bit too creepy. It's always nice to surprise yourself, but like not in a way that kind of freaks you out a little bit. And that kind of big piggy guy did freak me out a little bit. So yeah, I'm kind of glad this guy is just a bit of like a manic little piggy person, I suppose. And yeah, just trying to make everything fit together now. Getting in his kind of little booties there and his other leg, making sure that kind of fits in a kind of an appropriate way. Yeah, not really too much more else to say about this. Still loving all your stuff on Instagram, so definitely send that over. And if you want to take part, download the prompts from oddartworks.com, see what else is there, see if anything tickles your fancy. Tickles your fancy. It's not that kind of website, but yeah, lots of prompts, lots of maps, things like that. I hope you'll enjoy it. Only thing left to do is thank my wonderful patrons, who will get a credit in a minute, and if it's something you're interested in, go over to my Patreon and take a look over there. Alright folks, hope you enjoyed that, and as always, I will see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Bye now.